Hello, welcome to Three Crows Runes. My name is Jen. Let's do some rune reading. Today we are doing rune readings on Shakespeare's birthday, also his death day. But anyway, nice to have that kind of, you can do both at once. So we're doing Shakespeare themed readings today. So for this session, we're doing readings about what you are crafting. It doesn't have to be an artwork. It could be something you're working on. It could be something like non-tangible that you're working on. But whatever you're crafting, that's what these readings are going to be about. And in honor of that, so we have, and Shakespeare's birthday, we have 3 buttons. I'm a huge Shakespeare nerd. I'm a huge Shakespeare nerd. Anyway, so I have 3 buttons that have Shakespeare quotes on them, and you're going to feel into the quotes and feel into the cards. One of these has a message for you about what you are working on, what you are crafting. So feel into the cards. Card number 1 has the quote from Hamlet, "To thine own self be true." Does that one have a message for you about what you're crafting? Next card, card number 2, has the quote from The Tempest, "We are such stuff as dreams are made on." So is that the one that is calling to you with a message? So then the third one, card number 3, has the quote from Merry Wives of Windsor, "The world's mine oyster." Is that the card that has the message for you about what you're crafting? So feel into the cards, feel into the quotes. Which one of these has a message for you about what you're working on right now? I'm going to put the timestamps in the descriptions, and I will see you there. Bye! Hello, card number 1 people. So, card number 1 people, "To thine own self be true." We're going to forget that Polonius said that, because he was a bit of an ass. So, we're turning over card number 1. We're going to see what that is about what you are working on. The Lovers. Ooh. So quite possibly, card number 1 people, what you are crafting is a relationship, and that's fine too. But it might also be a collaboration. Either way, it's either you and the work, or you and somebody else and the work. So that's quite exciting. So to thine own self be true, people, for the Lovers. So let's see what the runes, I'm using the Black Walnut runes today, are going to tell you, very nice, about this message. I love these runes, but they're so long that sometimes they completely don't stay in the camera range. Okay, and the leaf is holding on to that one. That one already once more. You know what? I'm just going to lay them all out now. since it's coming out already. Okay, so to thine own self be true, people, with the Lover's card. So what you're working on, whatever it is, you are getting on with it. We have Tivaz, which is your central issue. Tivaz is Tyr's rune, Tyr's the warrior god, and this has to do with just picking up and riding forward, like driving forward, and also tending duties and responsibilities. So it's going to be, there's a lot of maintenance happening where you're just basically tending. Leading up to this, there was a great harvest. We have Yura, which is the harvest rune. Basically something that you put into place, like something that you planted, has come into fruition. And so it is with this that you are riding forward. Okay, now I have this thing that I have, or it's just like sort of a, well, it's the harvest, but it's also time, but I'm sort of seeing this more as, okay, this came to fruition, fantastic, let's go forward with this. And now you are tending this. You're just basically making sure that everything is consistently tended and in the best possible spirit of things, to maintain this and to keep it true. What is going to help you? We have Avaz. Avaz is the rune of the horse, and this has to do with movement and spirit. Definitely good to keep that as what's carrying you and leading you forward. So that's what's going to help you. Just let spirit guide you. Let your, whatever spirit is for you, let that guide you forward in your tendings of this situation that you are working on, that you're crafting. What isn't going to help is you're going to feel like, I guess anything that's sort of natural and organic that's coming up, as you tend it, you're going to feel a bit overwhelmed with the fact that it is out of your control. It's not something you can control. It is something that you can tend. So like, think of like a garden. Like a garden, it's wild. Like, as domestic as it is, it's something that is a living thing, that is something that you can tend, but you don't want to be too controlling with, because otherwise you'll kill it. So you don't want to do that. But basically, just tend it. Let your spirit guide you through this, and just sort of tend. Try not to get overwhelmed by the fact that it is alive. You're going to dance with it. Maybe that's what this is about, the lovers. Maybe it's you dancing with the thing that you are tending, and it's a dance. And it's a loving dance. So again, like a garden, if you were working on a garden, you're not going to be cruel about it. You're going to be very loving to make sure that it continues to flourish as you tend it. So again, following the spirit, letting the spirit carry you with this. What your next step is going to be is, we have Vunyo. I'm going to read this a couple of ways. One, you're going to tap into a deep inner joy. Vunyo is the joy rune. Sorry, Hagalaz, hailstorm, natural forces, natural energies, chaos, which is why that's what might overwhelm you, because it's alive. But anyway, but follow your spirit, it'll get you through it. Your next step is Vunyo Reversed. Vunyo is the joy rune, and first of all, you're going to want to tap into your deep inner joy on that. You're going to feel that sort of swelling up from within, this deep inner joy. But also, I want to read this as, you're going to become keenly aware of what isn't satisfying, what isn't making you feel content. This is all about tending whatever this is. So it's sort of like, again, following the spirit, you're looking at this thing, it's like, that bit there doesn't make me feel comfortable. I'm going to move in and do that. So what's going to help you with that is, we have Gebo. Gebo's the rune of the gift. It's also an exchange. Again, very much, whether this is with you and some other person, or whether this is you and the work. Or you and another person and the work. So either you're working together on a thing, you're working together and that's your thing, or you're working on the thing. To thine own self be true, people. That's sort of what you're doing. The thing you're bringing into being and that you're crafting. So if it's a collaboration with another person, that's going to help you. We have Gebo, it's an exchange. It sometimes has to do with interpersonal relationships. It's definitely always an exchange. It's an agreement, decision, or goal. So what's going to help you with either bringing out the joy that's within, or addressing the little things that are making you not feel satisfied about it. If you're working with somebody, then work with that person, and that's going to help you. If you're working just you and the work, basically make that sort of exchange with the work and say, okay, what can I do to fix this that will still maintain the work and make me feel satisfied? At the same time, just what can I do with the work that will bring this joy out more? What isn't going to help is, and it's similar to this, and these sort of, I almost read these together. Well, I did read these together sort of when I read the last one, but Ingvaz is what's not going to help. Ingvaz is the rune of active creations, so it's not letting something grow, it's grabbing it and trying to shape it, and that's not going to help. Once again, this is whatever this is that you're dealing with is a living thing, whether it's actually living, like living, or something that is organically growing and organically developing. And you can't edit later, like do the editing later after it's out. Don't edit while it's coming out, because that will kill it. Just like a garden. If you're having a garden, you can't pull on the beans to make them grow, because you'll just pull them out of the ground and they will die. So don't do that. That's not going to help you. And especially if you see something that's not satisfying, and you just go after it and just try to like wrestle with it. Wrestling is not going to be, don't wrestle with it. Dance with it. Make it be an exchange. Just have that conversation. Make it work in the spirit of, we want to make this work. And what this is going to lead you to is, it's just going to grow. It's going to expand. It's going to become more. This is Kaunaz. It's the rune of the, it's a torch. So it's the fire. It's something that starts small as an ember and grows into a blaze. You're going to make this, you're just going to expand with this. This is just going to grow from there. just get like rinse and repeat. Basically just keep, follow the spirit, see what needs adjustment, dance with it, see what it needs that you can give and have that exchange, and everything is just going to continue to grow and expand and just become more and more bright. So that, to thine own self be true people, is your reading about what you are currently crafting. I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello, we are such stuff as dreams are made on people. I'm going to move the button over here and we're going to turn the card and we're going to see what you're working on that this reading is going to be about. Ooh, judgment. Well, whatever it is that you're working on right now is something that you've sort of been called to work on. Like this is like, maybe you didn't answer this call for some time and now it's like you have no choice, you have to do it. You've been called, you got to do this. Whatever it is you're working on, whatever you're crafting, now is the time. It is definitely the time. You can't put it off anymore. So let's pull out some black walnut runes and see what messages the runes have to add to this. And I did this the last reading. I'm going to do that this reading as well. I'm just going to bring everything out at once and we're going to go from there. And final rune in the spread is cool. Okay. And really, I get the sense from this that whatever this is, you've had to drop everything and do. Like this, I don't see none of these reversed here anywhere, but in terms of the fact that the judgment card came up, we are such stuff as dreams are made on. Based on the quote, I feel like this is something that you'd been dreaming about for quite some time, but it's like you just never got around to it, and now is the time. You've heard the call, and you rise up, and here you are doing it. There is nothing else to do but it. So, leading up to this moment, which is Ingvaz, right now the central issue is Ingvaz, and Ingvaz is the rune of active creation. It's Ing's rune. Ing's another name for Frey. Frey is the fertility god, and it has to do with active creation. This is the time you are going to be doing this. You're going to be grabbing it with your both hands, and you're going to be making this happen. So, this thing that you're working on. Leading up to this, we have Avaz, and what I'm going to read this as is, Avaz is the horse, so the horse has to do with movement and also spirit. It is reversed and it's on the leading up space, it's in the leading up space on the path line. So it's like, you were just driving forward, it's like, I'll get to it, and suddenly you can't move forward anymore until you do it. So you've had to drop everything and you are now saying, I'm going to do this now. I'm doing it now. That is what I am doing it. So, so here you are, you're in the state of, I'm just going to sit to it and I'm going to do it. What's going to help you is, A, you now have the time to do it, and B, as you do it, you're going to see the fruits of your labors coming out, and it's going to be like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I wanted to do all this time. I'm doing this, and it is great. So we have Yira, which is the harvest rune. It has to do with harvest and also time. Literally, it means years, so that's why there's the season element of it. This is the time. Embrace that. And also, again, once you start sitting to it, almost immediately you're going to start to see the fruits of your labors from it. You're going to see the good of it that even just sitting to it for a moment has already brought you. So it's definitely going to help. That's going to help you working on that. What isn't going to help is maybe you didn't feel ready for it. The fact that everything stopped so you could do this has sort of like upended your life and upended your grounding. We have Urus Reversed. Urus is the wild ox, normally very grounded. It is reversed and it's on the lower line, and that can kind of throw you off because this is out of your comfort zone to a certain extent. It's not your routine. It's not your rut. It's something that you've been planning on and working towards, and you'd been dreaming about, but you hadn't gotten around to it. But now everything has stopped and it is time. So just, acknowledge that you're feeling like that, but at the same time, don't stop. Make sure that you are sitting to it and working on it and bringing things through, and that's going to encourage you to keep going. What your next step is going to be is lovely. It is Vunyo, which is the joy rune. The more you do this, you're going to feel this joy. You're going to feel this joy coming through, especially once you start to see the fruits of your labors coming out, and that's just going to be fantastic. And what this joy is on this joy step, the first step here, which is where you are now, with the crafting part, sitting down and sitting to it, that's where you're starting to see the fruits of your labors coming through that you expected. But now, once you get to the next step where you're actually feeling really, really good and you're feeling very joyful and joyous about it, and you're just really feeling this rich saturation of joy, now is going to come through some stuff that's going to surprise you. And that's going to be very, very exciting. And what's going to help you in that is allow it. We have Hagalaz, which is the rune of the hailstorm. It's chaos, but it's natural energies. It's natural forces. What's going to come through at that point is going to be really exciting. It's not going to be on your plan. That could drag you down. You're going to be like, but this isn't what I planned. That's fine. You know, it's like, think about writing. Like if you're writing something, you could plan out the whole thing, but once you start writing it, you get these surprises coming in. If you allow that, the story that you're writing will be so much more rich and so much more alive than anything that you planned. So allow for the surprises. Even if it brings you in a completely different direction from what you originally expected it to be, that's fine. You're bringing something through that's living, and it's very, very exciting, and it's going to make you even just more happy. It's going to be really joyful. So just allow for the surprises, allow for the wildness of the thing that you're bringing through, because you can handle it. You're in that state of joy. That is one of the best states to be in creatively, because that's where all the magic happens. Like that's where it starts to really manifest some really cool stuff. So just allow for that. And what this is going to do, what this ultimately is going to lead you to, is sort of a development of a new identity that's sort of going to start to become birthed within you. So we have Berkana reversed. Berkana is the rune of birth and beginnings. Reversed, it's inner. Usually, I am going to read this as another reading of that in a moment, but for now I'm just going to read this as allowing this and having that saturated feeling of joy and just bringing through the surprises, and the surprises come, sure, allow it, welcome. What this is going to do is it's going to grow you, and it's going to basically give you the birth of a new identity starting deep inside, and it's very, very exciting. And so it's just sort of this new organic you that's developing within yourself that is going to make your life more rich and make who you are more rich. Maybe not financially, but in terms of just like make your life richer. The other thing I'm going to read this as is the whole thing leading up to this was, eventually I'm just going to begin it. You finally did. You were sort of forced to, but you finally began it. And so what this part is, once you get to the point where the surprises are coming through, you're officially done with the beginning. You have officially begun, and you are past the beginning, and you are in the thick of it. And that's where you needed to get to. Like that's the threshold that you needed to cross. So that We Are Such Stuff as Dreams Are Made On, people, is your reading. Good luck, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello, the world's mine oyster people. So I'm going to move the world's mine oyster button over here, and I'm going to turn the card over, and we'll see what you're working on that this reading is going to be about. King of Cups. Okay, so what I'm going to say is it's sort of like you're developing a you that's more comfortable with emotion, and that's more comfortable with intuition, and that's more comfortable with all the lovely watery things. So emotion, intuition, and heart. Creativity, creation, arts, the good things, lots of good things. So let's see what the black walnut runes have to say. Okay, neat. So we're just going to lay down the whole thing, and then we're going to go from there, because that worked for the past couple, so we're going to just keep doing that. Can you hear the wind today? Because the wind is making like this, I don't know if you can hear that. It's like the wind is sort of whistling in the trees and the windows. We don't have leaves yet. We're getting them. The buds are looking like they're going to want to open soon where we are. So that's exciting. Okay, so the world's mine oyster, and as such, the King of Cups is ready to enjoy the good things involving emotion, intuition, heart, creation, all that good, rich enjoyment stuff. What is your central issue here is Avaz reversed. Now, Avaz is the rune of the horse, and the horse has to do with emotion. The horse does have to do with emotion. Not so much, though, as movement and spirit, but it is reversed and it's on the path line. So you have chosen to not run around as much, and also to sort of do an inner... You're running around, but inwardly. Like your movement forward is an internal thing right now. It's more creative. It's more intuitive, and also you're following spirit. So spirit, it's a very internal thing. You're sort of doing. You might even be doing internal spiritual stuff, like maybe some journey work, maybe some dream work, maybe some just like internal introspection, following the spirit things, finding out who you are on that in that realm. So. But it's sort of like it's a turning inward and sort of turning your gallop inward. Leading up to this, I'm going to read this two ways. We have Othala, which is the rune of the home and the homeland, but it is reversed also on the path line. It's what led up to this. So on the one hand, you may have been knocked out of your comfort zone a little bit. Two, you may have been in a situation of decluttering. You may have been letting go of things that weren't serving you recently, and that's led you to the point of like, you know what, if I'm decluttering, then let me go inwardly and declutter as well. Just let's make everything around me and within me just a joy. Make it so the world's mine oyster, whether or not you like oysters, in terms of just like everything is just rich and dripping with meaning and happiness and joy and love and all that good stuff. So like fine wine. Actually, no, that would be more practical. But the guy's got a fine wine thing. The fine wine, I think, is emotion in this case. So that's basically led you inwardly to this thing that you're working on, which is yourself, which is great. That's a very important thing to be working on. Everybody should do that. Obviously not to exclusion of everything else, but sometimes you gotta. So what is going to help you here is, just like the horse stopped running around physically, have those moments of stillness. Give yourself moments of stillness and solitude, because this is what's going to help you get in touch with that. We have Isa, which is the rune of ice, and it has to do with stillness, standstill, and also clarity. Through stillness, clarity. And so that's what's going to help you really get in touch with that. Give yourself some quiet. Give yourself some nice solitude, where you're going to have the opportunity to listen to yourself and really get in touch with that. What isn't going to help is we have Yira. Yira is the rune of the harvest. It also has to do with time. And that's basically what might drag you down. If you get yourself into that point where, you know, I'm finally starting this journey where I'm going to go inward and just really sort things out and declutter and get things really good, you're going to be like, why didn't I do this 10 years ago? Why didn't I do this 5 years ago? I missed out on all of this good stuff that I could have gotten before, and that could drag you down, this regret. Bring yourself back up to the point where it's like, no, you know what? I'm doing it now. So be still, let the clarity come in. Now is the time that this is happening. So it's great. What this will lead you to is a greater sense of focus. We have Kaunas reversed. Kaunas is the rune of the torch. So it's the fire. It's something that starts small as an ember and it blows into a blaze, except it's reversed. So that usually goes from, instead of going into a blaze, is going into a honing into a focus. So that's what you're going to do at this point. You're going to, once you've had this stage here where you're getting in touch with it, you are then going to hone your focus. And what's going to help you with that is you're really going to be very much aware of how inwardly strong you are. We have Urus Reversed. Urus is the rune of the wild ox. That has to do with strength and health. Reversed, it has to do with inner strength and inner health. And that's what's going to really, really help you. The more you've gone in and the more you've seen how strong you are inside, that's going to help you hone your focus towards what you're going towards, which is a happier life, really. What isn't going to help is, oh my gosh, it's the din of humanity. We have Manas, which is the rune of humanity. And it's those people who are like, well, you shouldn't have done it this way. You should have done it this way. And everybody's got their opinions, and they are not yours, and they are generally not for you. So if you start to say, oh, well, these other people did this way, and I should maybe do it that way, no, please don't do that. That's going to wreck your thing. So they're going to ruin your oyster. Basically, bring yourself back up to your clarity, your strength, your knowledge of your inner world at this point, and just continue honing your focus, letting that inform you. And what this is going to lead you to is even deeper journeys within. We have Rydell Reversed. Rydell is the rune of riding. And so it's sort of, letting spirit carry you deeper into your inner world, which is just going to enrich your whole life the deeper you go. And this is just basically going to be a thing that's going to be going on with you, with your life, as you go forward. Even in the outer world, your inner journey will continue. So it'll be like a Mythic Realms kind of thing. That's the other video I did today. It was the Mythic Realms reading. But this is basically what you're working on right now, is developing a more rich inner world, which is awesome. And this inner world is definitely your oyster. So that, the world's mine oyster people, is your reading. I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye.